So people are always talking about how they want to chase their dreams, and they always talk about they want to stop working at this crap job that they're at. But the thing is, they can't even do what they supposedly love for free to begin with. Let's get that clear. I'm Andre, and this is the Speak Your Life podcast, where we talk about everything as it relates to education, careers, values, mentors, and anything to do with purpose. We do this one impactful conversation at a time, whether a solo dolo with yours truly or our amazing guests to share stories, industry insights, encouraging words, and calls to action that can help you get closer to your why. Become a part of the Speak Your Life community by subscribing today to the podcast and following. People are always talking about how they want to chase their dreams, and they always talk about they want to stop working at this crap job that they're at. But the thing is, they can't even do what they supposedly love for free to begin with. Let's get that clear. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at SpeakYourLYFE, because life without your why is meaningless. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Speak Your Life podcast. So excited to be here with you guys on this 19th episode, and today we will be talking about why you should be doing stuff for free. So people are always talking about how they want to chase their dreams, and they always talk about they want to stop working at this crap job that they're at. But the thing is, they can't even do what they supposedly love for free to begin with. Let's get that clear. So today we'll be talking about just two things, and that is why you should start doing things for free, and two, how you can get started with doing stuff for free today. And so let's go ahead and get started without further ado. Because I will say, let's just be real. I will say I was one of those people, and it's a struggle. It is a struggle when you're first starting out in whatever industry you're in, whether you're podcasting, whether you're public speaking, like in my case, and I just wanted to check. I just wanted to get paid for it straight off the rip, like just off the bat, and I just wanted to get that money to feel validated, to feel like, man, this is what's gonna, make me feel good, like I'm doing something. But no, like, what really helps me is knowing that I have a skill that is helping people, and that I'm growing in that skill, that I'm growing in that talent, so that I can be valuable to you as my listeners and the audience and whoever is in my community. I definitely encourage that for you guys as well, because like I said, you really don't know that you really don't, in my opinion, you really don't love something until you can do it for free. And, eventually you get paid for it, but at least, do it for free. MJ, Kobe, LeBron, they weren't playing ball, in the backyard neighborhood for, just for a paycheck. They weren't getting the millions of dollars that they are now, or, rest in peace to Kobe. But they put in the work earlier, and they, were doing it for free. They were doing it for the love of the game, like they always say. And so it's the same way with you. Whatever your game is, whether you're in business, arts, education, whatever your game is, do it for the love of the game first before you go out there and just do it for a paycheck. Because the thing is, I really think it's so important for us to refine the goal that God has put inside of us, our gifts and talents and stuff like that. Discover and refine that goal. Go after that before you go after the goal extrinsically. Go after the goal intrinsically. Go after the goal intrinsically first, refine that, and then go after the goal extrinsically outside of you, your money, your paycheck, the salary, whatever it is. So that's something I want you guys to just kind of think about right now. Go through this show and we go through this episode, because I know a lot of you are, got your side hustles, or you're trying to figure out how you can make your next move, how you can get out of this job that you just absolutely hate. You just don't want to be here. And so we're talking about doing stuff for free. It allows you that freedom. You have that flexibility that you're able to make your biggest mistakes. You're able to, fail fast, fail hard right now, so that later on it will be easier on your brand or whatever is you're venturing out to do. Because, like, imagine this. Look at it this way. You're on the subway and you hear a singer, and maybe they're an aspiring singer, whatever the case is, and they, they're just singing their heart out, but they miss a note. You're not going to think too much of it. You're like, they missed a note. Okay. You're going to give them grace, because you know why? they're doing it for free. You ain't paying them for it. People do it for $1 or $2, but like they're not a paid professional. They're an amateur. And so since you're not putting in your time necessarily and your money to sit through like an hour of their singing, you're able to give them grace. Now let's look at if we were at Alicia Keys' concert, post-quarantine that is, and if Alicia sung off key, no pun intended, Alicia Keys, if she sung off key, you would probably give her less grace because you paid your time to be there. You drove all the way out to the venue. You came out to whatever, Staples Center, wherever she is, and you paid your money to see her live. And if she missed a note, you wouldn't give her grace, the same grace that you gave that person on the subway. You know why? Obviously, because you put something into it that you earned. And so it's the same way whenever it comes to doing stuff for free. You need to do it for free, make your mistakes now. A lot of them fail fast now and fail hard so that later on you're able to learn from those mistakes, that now when you become a paid professional to do whatever you're doing, speaking, podcasting, whatever the case is, that people will, they'll have a higher expectation, And so I also kind of was thinking about Thomas Edison. We always hear what he said about how I have 999 ways of how not to make a light bulb. But, it was just like interesting because 999 ways, imagine if those 999 ways that he actually put his product out there and people, were giving him a chance 999 times. Yeah, all right, Thomas Edison. All right, you put this product out here and you expect us to pay for it, and you failed us 999 times. Now, do you think they'll give him as much grace on the 1000th time when he actually did get it right? Probably not, because he's already shown himself not to be trustworthy with this product. And so it's the same way with you. Like, you ought to fail fast. You ought to find your 999 ways of how to fail, whether it's in music, business, whatever it is you're doing, so that whenever you have your product and you want to get it out to the market, you want to sell it, then people are going to have a lot more trust for you because they're going to see like, all right, this product is valid, this service is good, like it's top notch. And I'm also paying for it. So like I said, people have higher expectations whenever they're paying for something, and you want to deliver. You want to, refine that goal, find and discover and refine that goal within, so that, you'll eventually get the goal, outside of you, the paper, the money, all of it, you'll get it outside of you. And so, all that to say is like, don't live in fear that, you have to get it perfect. You just got to get everything perfect. No, that just like, it doesn't exist. The perfect time does not exist. Like, now is the perfect moment. But all that to say is just really that whenever you're refining your skills, refining your goal within, you're not only helping the people and bringing value to the people in your community and to the world, but you're also helping yourself. You're helping yourself get closer to, because we, in this podcast, good and well, we don't talk about just finding a position. I want to be the CEO of this company. That's cool. But like, what is your purpose? That's what it's all about, guys. What is your purpose? What is your why? And what are you going after? What are you becoming? And so whenever you're refining those things, whenever you're fine-tuning your skills, you are getting closer to your why and fulfillment as well. Because again, success without fulfillment is the absolute failure, because there's a lot of people out here that are getting paid. They're getting, millions on millions of dollars. They're getting that cheddar, stack, bread, whatever you want to call it. They are getting it. But the thing is, they are not feeling fulfilled because they're not in their purpose. So you can turn your passion and into your purpose, and, a purpose that gets paid for, but it all starts with doing it for the love of the game. The love of the game. You got to do it for the love of that thing, that art, that whatever you're doing. So just stay focused and keep moving, and realize that the money's going to come eventually. You don't have to worry about that. When you refine your skills, when you refine that goal, people are going to pay you for it. People are going to pay you for it. Before, when I first became a flight attendant, there's a lot of things that you have to have, experiences or skill sets or whatever like that, qualities that they're looking for. And, I didn't really meet the job description on the spot, on the day of the job interview. I met those qualifications way before the job interview even happened. I was already, a team player. I already was a friendly person. I already knew how to communicate with people. And so I already had those qualities of what it took to be a flight attendant before I got paid to do it. And so all that to say is that in the same way, whether you're applying for a job, whether you're trying to, push out a product or a service that you have as an entrepreneur, you maybe, the thing is, like, you need to refine those things so that, people will discover you, and you'll already have what they're looking for, because like I said, they didn't hire me and then pay me all that to tell me and train me how to be friendly, how to communicate, how to be a team player. No, like all my life experiences kind of prepared me for that moment, like building up to that. And so in the same way, whether you have played team sports all your life, whether you kicked it with your friends and you learn how to communicate with people, like you learn all these different things, you learn all these different skills, and maybe you play piano or you play guitar all your life, and you didn't realize what this was leading up to. And so, these things, these experiences are preparing you for those moments that you have right now. Maybe you played team sports all your life, and when you had the opportunity to become a CEO, you knew what it meant to be a team player long before that position was available, because you had so much practice leading up to that position being open to begin with. And, again, why is this so important, guys? Because people are going to see that you're putting in the time and the effort to learn what could help them out, and it could also help you out towards the field that you're looking to be the best in. That's what you're always trying to be the best in. You're not trying to just be average. You're not just trying to be good, but you're trying to be great. Whatever it is that you're doing, because you want to stand out, and that's how people will be drawn to you. They will want to pay you. Like it will be just not even a problem. It's like, because the thing is, like, what differentiates me taking my money to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, it all comes down to the difference in quality of service. And I find that in my personal experience, I like Chick-fil-A better because of that quality experience, that quality service that they provide. They really train those people really well how to treat their customers. I'm not just saying that McDonald's doesn't know what customer service is like. Obviously they do. They've been around for a long time. But in my personal opinion, I believe that, Chick-fil-A is, one of those places that they have good service. And I will say Chipotle too. They have really great service, and they do their best to go above and beyond what is called for. And so, like, people can put their money anywhere, but they want to go to the place that they feel like they are getting the most value from. And so that's where you want to do, that's where that comes from. Like, where you're discovering your goal, you're refining it, and you're making the best thing that it could possibly be, because people are going to ask, how are you different from this artist? How are you different from this comedian? How are you different from all the other people that are trying to get my money? That's the question that people are going to ask. What are you going to be doing for me? How are you providing me value? And so many of you have heard the 10,000 hour rule of mastery that was popularized by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers. Well, for those of you who are not familiar with that concept, it basically states that you must put in 10,000 hours to master a thing, a subject, an art, a skill, or whatever it is. And this book had many examples, and one of them, a couple of them I remember is like one. Bill Gates was in computer programming. He started that, I think, in 1968, and so I didn't even know they had computers back then. But it was just cool to see how he made that transition from, first computer programming when he had every opportunity to, even though other kids in his neighborhood had the same opportunity that he did, he took advantage of that. And obviously he went out to create Microsoft and became a billionaire and all that good stuff. So, and the other example that they gave in the book was about the Beatles. That was my favorite example in the book, because it showed the transition that the Beatles had when they were in Liverpool before they went to Hamburg, Germany. When they were in Liverpool, England, they were playing for like 2 hours every single day. Now, I don't know how much they get paid for that, to play 2 hours and practice, all that time. But I don't imagine it was as much as, when they became famous and were paid professionals, quote unquote. And so, yeah, 2 hours every day in Liverpool. And then when they went to Hamburg, Germany, they had their Hamburg experience, and they had 8 hours a day of practice, 7 days a week. They were in there, like, they were just like really learning how to become the best musicians that they could be. And obviously we know that, they put in the time and all the effort, because it showed as they have been, winning a bunch of awards for all their music all this time. And, they're one of the greatest bands of all time, if not the greatest. And, it goes to show that putting in the work, putting in the 10,000 hours, having that love for the game, whether it be music, whether it be sports, whether it be arts, whether it be business, is so important. It's so vital. And you got to start looking at this as an opportunity that you get to do, because I know for me, sometimes I've had those moments where I had to check myself. I had to be like, yo, Andre, like, I'm not uploading this podcast because I have to, even though I told everybody I'll do it every Sunday. I'm doing this because I get to do this. I get an opportunity to share a message that can uplift and inspire and encourage you to get closer to your why, not just pursue a position, but pursue your purpose. And so I have to realize that, and I have to constantly check myself when I do have those downtimes, when I do have those moments where I'm feeling dull, or I'm feeling like, oh man, it's not as exciting as it first was. And that's how it is sometimes. Like I'm sure if you asked, LeBron James, does he have that same excitement of, just for the pure love of the game? I don't know. I don't know what the answer would be, but maybe I don't imagine it being the same as when he first started. Or maybe it has grown. I don't know. But sometimes whenever you do something for the long term, even though you may love it, there are, moments where you're like, man, I don't like this now. It's like when you love your family. Like, there's sometimes you just don't like them, but you still love them regardless. It's the same way with your passion. There's the same way with whatever is you're pursuing. You love it, that thing that that is your passion. But there are some times where you just don't like it. You're just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. But you can't do stuff based off of what you feel sometimes. You gotta focus on what is the mission? What am I doing to help other people around me? And I'm gonna be committed to that. It's about a commitment. And if you're not committed to that, then you have to ask yourself, is this really your passion? Because if you're not committed to it, if you're not committed to putting in the work and putting in the hours for the love of the game, so to speak, then do you really love it? Do you really love what you're doing if you can't do it for free at first? So again, start looking at this as an opportunity that you get to do, not that you have to do, because nobody is forcing you to do anything at the end of the day. Like, you don't have to, work at a crap job that you hate. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to, leave it and go start another business. You don't have to, but you can sit in misery. That's your choice. And so all that to say is, I know that, it's like, I also want to say that when you say that you don't have time to pursue your passion and pursue whatever it is that brings you joy, that's almost like saying that you don't have time to love yourself through investing in the things that bring you that happiness, that self-love and stuff like that. And so, I understand there are people out there that you guys are listening, and many of you have other jobs and that, other places that you are spending your time at, excuse me. And it is tiring. You get back home from your job and you're trying to put, time into your passion, and it's tiring. You don't have that much time, and you may have a family, you may have kids, and you don't have that same kind of energy that somebody else would that doesn't have a family. And I totally get that. You're not able to have that Beatles Hamburg 8-hour a day experience 7 days a week, but maybe starting off with 1 or 2 hours a day could possibly be feasible. Maybe it could be something that you can just start off with a little increment, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or even an hour of whatever it is that you love to do. And because eventually, you have to come to terms with whatever it is that your life has, resulted in, because you are responsible for your misery. You are responsible for your happiness. So the choice is yours. And so you can continue to be miserable where you are at and complain about it, or you can also dig down and make the time, not just have the time, but make the time to set aside and put a schedule together so that your time is being, used in a great way that's productive, that's not just being wasted, and you're getting closer to whatever it is that makes you happy, that gives you that joy that, sometimes other things don't do. Like the job that you're working at, they are paying you, but it's not giving you that fulfillment. It's not giving you that joy. I'm doing this right now, but there are other things that I could be doing that are paying me for it, but those things don't give me that joy, that fulfillment that podcasting does, that speaking to you guys does, and communicating with you guys does. And so that's why I'm here. And so now we're on the part of how. We talked about why. Obviously, with this quarantine going on, you can't really go to a meetup group, or you can't really go to an open mic night. If you're a comedian or a musician, you can display your talents and you can display your abilities in other ways. Obviously, you can go to YouTube, you can upload videos of you playing the piano, or if you are an artist, you can show your artwork and all that good stuff. And of course, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are ways. TikTok, obviously, people are making cooking videos and all that stuff over there. So those are other ways that you can, or as far as like the how-tos, and lynda.com is a great one as well. You can learn a lot of skills when it comes to videography, editing, when it comes to Photoshop, different things like that. You can learn a lot of skills and discover, try to a bunch of different things and see what works best for you, see what speaks to you, and just go for it and spend time and invest in that. And I would also encourage you to read the book Outliers that we just talked about Malcolm Gladwell. I'm not able to speak today. And also, I would like to add a book on top of that. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. That's a really good one as well. And for now, like I said, you can't do anything like as far as like crowds go because of quarantine, but you can get creative and you can host sessions like Zoom sessions, house party sessions, or whatever platform floats your boat. And you can just have a live stream of a pineapple upside down cake tutorial, or you can show people how to play Beethoven songs on your piano. Whatever it is that you do, whatever is your passion, whatever it is that you love, that thing that you think you love, do it for the love of the game and do it for free. That's my challenge to you, because again, you're not really able to love something unless you can do it for free. And so as we recap, we talked about two things, guys. We talked about why you should start doing things for free and going after, discovering and refining that gold within so that you can have the gold outside of you. You can have that money. You can have whatever is, the prizes outside of you that are waiting to reward you for putting in the work, for going through the process. Because I've heard it said that, if you get the prize without the process, it's going to lead to pride. And if you have pride, you're not going to think that you can always grow and do better, become a better musician, become a better basketball player, become a better speaker, become a better author, whatever is the case may be. That can help you get closer to your why, get closer to your purpose, bringing greater value to other people around your community and to the greater world beyond. The second thing we talked about is how you can get started today doing stuff for your friends, doing stuff for your family, social media followers, and just, before you get paid for it, you can just do it for free because you're doing it for the love of the game, guys. All right, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, whether you're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, be sure to give a nice review if you connected with anything that we talked about in today's episode. And also, if you have any questions, comments, or just want to hit us up on social media, you can find us and follow us at Speaker LYFE, because life without your why is meaningless. And guys, podcasts are free to listen to, as you know, but they are not free to host. And so because of that, feel free to support our podcast patron. I will leave a link below, and any amount that you see comfortable, whether it's as small as $10, $5, or even $1 a month. Thank you again so much. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.